I got one for you today that might ruffle some feathers. This one's been a challenge for me. Even today, I stopped this morning. I pressed reset. Buckle up. You might need it. I certainly did. It's Hard Truth Monday.
Was it freedom from Johnson City?
Well, a big shazam and a golly to each of y'all. It's Hard Truth Monday. I got one for you today. It's something I've been working on, and it's an idea or even a thing that's kind of just seeped into our lives, and I know it has into mine as well. I was going to say over the last few weeks or months, but I'm at the point now, the more I think about it, the more I think it's seeped in over the last several decades. Again, stay with me to the end. I'm going to tell you how we should act, or at least how I have reacted to this idea. I'm a little nervous about this because there's a few people that really, really won't like this. Today's episode is brought to you by Hidden Hybrid Holsters. Shelly left a comment last week and said, I just received my Hidden Hybrid holster. It didn't get any airtime between the package and my belt. This thing is great. Thank you, Johnny, for showing me the best holster I've ever put on. I can't believe how inexpensive they are. This will have to do for your algorithm boost. Thanks, Shelly. Be like Shelly. You're going to be, I think you'll be really pleased with the quality of it, the fit of it, and the price of it's fantastic, at least according to Shelly. Good on you, Shelly. HiddenHybridHolsters.com. Tell them I sent you. You people, thanks for a thumbs up. Hit subscribe, all of that. I'll be here all week. It should be a fun week. I say that every week, but this channel is a lot of fun to be a part of. Thank y'all for also being a part of all of this nonsense. You people. Hard truth. The right, the conservatives, us, and there's a continuum of where we're at in that window, but all of us, I will say literally all of us fall within that window. We cheered when NBC yanked Jimmy Kimmel off the air, and I'll be honest with you, I thought it was funny. I still think it's kind of funny. His joke was actually really good, and it was funny. Like, he had a funny joke, and what he said that got him booted was just a lead into that joke. He blew it, obviously. Do I think he's cool? Not at all. I think he's a dirtbag and a moron, and I think people that follow that nonsense at late night TV, because all of it has been paid by USAID for years, if not decades. So I'm not saying that they're awesome or they're cool or they're anything. I am saying this. Jimmy Kimmel has the right to say whatever he wants. And when we cheer over someone losing their job over a freedom of speech thing, and I know what some of y'all are already typing. Let me get there. However, I think we need to be very mindful of cheering when someone loses their job over words that come out of their mouth. What happened to free speech? We should be able to say whatever the bleep we want. And I'll bracket that in here in just a minute. But as a whole, the First Amendment is the First Amendment. I've allowed that to seep into my own bones. Ha, 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 you can't say that. And I've talked about the sprinklings of communism before, that we all have just a light dusting. I'll see people in the comment section, good people, hardworking Americans, constitutional conservatives regularly, that will bracket what they're about to say with their own identity. Hey, Johnny, as a straight white Christian male, here's my thoughts. This identity politics thing, it seeps over onto us. Likewise or similarly, I think when we cheer other people being silenced, it's a problem. The left tried really hard to make Charlie Kirk's assassination be about his gun stance. It's not. It's about his freedom of speech and trying to silence his voice. We are in a season right now where Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, a cabinet member of this administration, is openly calling for being able to regulate and shut down freedom of speech on social media. She said, "We're coming after you." In that same week, Hillary Rodham Clinton also said, well, first she said, "An eye of newt into the cauldron," because she's a witch. She also said, if we can't control the social media and all of the blogs and all the keyboards, we will lose overall control. That is terrifying to me. And I'm not being dramatic here. I know it's Hard Truth Monday and I'm supposed to be very serious. It's a scary thing, a scary time to live in. Remember, and a lot of folks don't know this, Howard Stern, the greatest shock jock of all time, who I also want to say very clearly is a dirtbag and somebody I wouldn't walk across the street to say hello to or to listen to. It was the Republicans that fined him into oblivion in the 90s. The Bush administration then again fined him into oblivion over words, over syllables, over sounds, over things that hit the airwaves and dissipate and are be gone and they go nowhere. They disappear. We must be okay with being in the same room and having a conversation with people that we disagree with. It is a tactic of the left to silence those that they disagree with. We've got to be okay with it. On my way to church this morning, it's Sunday here. On my way to church, I saw a moron drive by and he had a big, giant Ukraine flag on the back of his car, a sticker. And everything that represents is so stinking dumb. You must be stupid, stupid, stupid. Yeah, the guy is stupid. He couldn't point out Ukraine on a map until the television told him, you need to have empathy, that made up word empathy. You need to have empathy for these people overseas. They're good, and you need to stand with them. And I'm totally okay with his stupid bumper sticker. Let's know who I don't want to hang out with. Years and years ago, I worked with teenagers, and in that world, I used to, with other groups, other churches in that city I lived in, we used to get together with all the youth guys every month. And it was a little comfortable for me in my 20s because I knew that their doctrine was so different than mine. Maybe some of the basics were the same, but the way they fleshed that out or the style of their church was very different than mine. I can remember just being like, is this okay? Because in that time, back in the late 90s, a lot of churches didn't hang out with each other. The older I get, the more I'm okay with hanging out and talking and having disagreements. And some of my friends, like people I actually call friends, believe things that I 100% don't believe and that I openly mock to their face. You know who you are. And it's very comfortable for me to be around that. Now, I'm not running around with socialists. I'm not running around with people that hate America. I'm talking about good, hardworking Americans that believe a little bit different. In the big arena, we have to be okay with the free market of ideas, allowing anybody to have a voice, allowing anybody to say whatever they want. Now, here's the point where I want to bracket all of that, because I know some people are already typing. You can't say anything. You can't jump online and do threats to other people or open things that are just over the line. There are, of course, limits to the First Amendment. Absolutely. Side issue, I got real uncomfortable and I thought it was funny. Both can be true at the same time. I can be uncomfortable with it and go, ha ha. That's from The Simpsons. With college teachers and high school teachers and elementary school teachers and middle school teachers that lost their jobs over their private social media. They are off campus and they're saying things. Now, here's the big bracket. A lot of folks are working at positions where they signed an agreement with that private institution or sometimes public institution that they would have a behavioral standard. I also want to say that I support that right. I'm a guest here on YouTube. I have clicked a user agreement that brackets the words that I can use, and I have somewhat followed that, and I get it. I 100% get it. People banging the keyboard saying, Johnny, First Amendment, say whatever you want. Yeah, I can say whatever I want. Freedom of speech, one, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. There are consequences to your actions. Two, I think those private companies have the right to say, if you're going to represent me, you can't be in these certain categories, camps, or have these certain ideologies spewing out of your face. That said, I also want to say really clearly, Ethel, I know you're already in the comment section going wild, but I also am really uncomfortable with somebody teaching, maybe if I had a first grader, a second grader, somebody openly cheering for what happened to Charlie Kirk. I also deeply, deeply have a problem with that. So where I'm at now, and I get it, I 100% get it. The FCC stuff is going on. I get it that maybe the Kimmel thing was not about what he said, but was about that FCC restructuring and that whole monopoly thing that's going on. I don't even want to deal with that. It doesn't interest me whatsoever. But what I am saying today is we have to be okay with everyone having a voice, with everyone. We don't have to listen to them, but having the right to say whatever they want. I really believe that the right wing, including me, cheering Jimmy Kimmel. I had some memes about it. I thought, I still think it's funny. him getting popped for a few days is super, super dangerous. We're not talking about this enough. What's going on in the United Kingdom is terrifying, and I'm not using that word lightly. It is terrifying. I showed last week a graphic showing the number of people over the last year that have been arrested in the United Kingdom over social media posts. Catch this. Social media posts, social media likes. People were arrested, put into handcuffs behind their back over liking a post, and some were arrested for just viewing some content. You know what Gestapo level of nonsense that is? That is frightening. And then the one no one is talking about, UK is getting ready to enact digital IDs, and now we're moving into some social stuff that is frightening as well. We are on the verge of AI taking over our world. The cat's out of the bag. It's coming whether you like it or not. And one of those things is this whole idea of a social score, a social credit score. You can't go to the grocery store because you looked at that post, you liked that post, and that's scary. I have said on this channel about 1 bazillion times that they're going to come around the end or come around the side for our Rudy Tooty point and shooties any way they can. One area that I've said for years they're going to come after is mental health or a public health crisis. I see in this instance, they're going to come at us over maybe not just the Charlie Kirk, but it'll be the next tragedy. There's going to be more tragedies coming, mark my words, and coming soon. And they will use that, including the right, both sides of the aisle will use that to constrict our rights. Never let a crisis go to waste. The right cheered the Patriot Act, and the Patriot Act wrecked America in so many ways on so many metrics. We still haven't recovered from that either, and we cheered it. Oh, I've got nothing to hide. Bring it on, big government. Pam Bondi coming after free speech has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. Nothing. I am not asking that. I'm not suggesting it. I'm telling you it has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. They are using it as an excuse to tighten the reins, and that is scary. Now, how do we react to this? I stopped myself this morning and I went, freedom of speech is for everybody. Freedom of speech is for everybody. Asterisk. You can't say whatever you want. If you're working for a private company, there may be some consequences. There may be consequences to your words. But in a general sense, on some random Monday or Thursday afternoon, we have to be okay with that. And that's a challenge for me. That is a challenge for me to stop and say, what do I believe? I was thinking this morning about the founding fathers. They wrote it down first. Freedom of speech. Say whatever you want to say. Specifically, you can criticize the government, at least in 2025. They're trying to eliminate that as well. In a day and age where things are slipping away and the constriction on us is getting tighter and tighter, and I swear, some of y'all are like, the boy's turning into a liberal. Not at all. Not at all. I believe deeply in the free market of ideas. Our ideologies will win when put to the test. Bring it on. You disagree with me? Bring it on. Not y'all, but in general, bring it on. The free market of ideas is super important. Our ideologies are strong. What the constitutionalists wrote down is unbelievably rigid, and it works today, and I believe in it deeply. Everyone has the right to free speech.
Was it freedom from Johnson City? Was it freedom from Johnson City? Was it freedom from Johnson?
This gun fits my hand better than this one does.
Come on, Johnny B.